Warning, in the video that comes up, I'm going to be working on a high-energy lithium battery pack for a cordless lawnmower. These are quite dangerous if you cause a short circuit. So if you're going to work on one of these, you have to be very careful not to cause any short circuits because a battery like this stores a lot of energy. This time I have an Echo 58 volt battery powered lawnmower charger and battery. It apparently is telling me it's got a defective battery. Okay, indicating that the battery can't charge. So in all likelihood, one of the cells inside this pack has failed. So we're going to open this pack up, see if we can locate the bad cell. So this uses security bits, or security screws, but fortunately I have the correct bit to open the pack up. So let's get down into the pack and see if we can see why it's refusing to charge. These packs will typically have a bunch of 18650s in series, and we're going to have probably one or two cells that have gone bad and they're preventing the entire pack from charging. And there's more screws in the end. And here is the inside. So we've got a series of cells under this strip of flexible PC. Got our balancing circuit over here. And in this one we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, looks like 14 cells that will all be connected in series. Now whenever you're working on batteries like this, you got to take into consideration that the batteries probably are mostly still charged, and as you can see we've got 48 volts and this is a 58 volt pack, so probably got 2 cells that have gone bad, more than likely. So the first thing we need to do is we need to open the pack up, take off unplug the sensing circuit first, and then we need to take off the sensing strap so we can break the pack open and get at the actual cells themselves to replace which ones, or measure them to see which one's gone bad. So first things first, let's remove all these connections so that I can get into the pack. We'll first disconnect it from its monitoring circuit over here. That's just a standard remove that, and then I'll start removing these one at a time. So I'm just going to start at one end and just start carefully removing these tabs. My iron doesn't appear to be quite up to temperature yet. And yes, because I am safety conscious, I will be removing my watch before I get into this thing. I'll remove the solder from this sheet once I've got it off the unit, but right now I just want to carefully remove them all as to not cause any short circuits. That's a thermal sensor right here. Since I am going to be working near a battery, I am going to remove my watch before I get anywhere close to anything that's energized. And of course remove any metal from the vicinity that could cause a short circuit. I got this one stuck on just a little bit here. There we go. Okay, now that I've got this removed, I'm going to mark which side this goes on to, even though I know because the connector's over here, but it doesn't hurt to put a mark on which side this goes on, so we'll just mark it here. So we know which way it wraps. Okay, now I've got individual cells, which we can check individual cells. You'll see how they're wired. They're all wired in series with each other. So this cell here goes through to the side, which then connects over to this cell. And this cell connects over to this cell. You see how we're getting? So it's just a simple matter of taking the meter and measuring to see which cells are not putting out power. So if I measure across this cell here, I see that this one's 3.8 volts. So I'm going to mark this cell as OK. This cell here is 3.8. That one's also OK. The cell next to it, 3.8. That's OK. We're just going to go through and we're going to measure all the cells, and when I find a bad cell, we'll mark it as being bad. Now what if all the cells are good? Well, then the problem is going to be something in the sensing circuit. Oops. Which one am I on here? Fourth one down. So that's my bad cell right there, because it's gone open. And the other cells we're measuring through the control circuit. So we got 45 volts across that open circuit. 3.8. That's the bad cell. 3.8. 3.8. 3.8. 3.8. So this cell here that was measuring 48 or 46 volts, this is the bad cell. Of course it's going to be right in the middle of the bloody pack, right? Of course that's always going to be the bad cell, but this is the bad cell right here. If I measure across the cell directly, 45.2 volts, which of course is impossible, right? That's because that cell is open. So that's the cell that needs to get removed. So to remove the cell, I'm just going to pop off the tab on the top here, on the bottom, and we'll replace it. And the nice thing about this is I can put the new cell in one of these other spare holes and just wire it across. So that's that one bent. That one's open. Bend this up. We'll do the same thing for the other side of this cell, and then I can try to extract the cell. I've got 18650 cells, so that's not a problem. Okay, so there's the dead cell removed. If I put my meter across the dead cell that is actually out, you'll see that it is measuring 0. Now the fun part, this being the positive side of the cell, I'll mark this side with a plus and this side with a minus, so that when I put the new cell in, I can just pop it in. The fun part, of course, is going to be getting the dead cell out, which really isn't that bad, because, well, all I need to do is just cut around here, and I should be able to push the cell through. Or even cut on this side, but this side's probably a little bit easier, just to cut the plastic away. As I say, the new cell I can actually mount outside here. And for that matter, I could even leave the dead cell in and just insulate it and just stick a new cell on the outside over here and just wire it up to the tab. And that might be the easiest thing to do, is just to insulate this dead cell so that the cell, I mean, it's open, so it's not going to make a connection. So we just put some insulation on here, tape or something on here, and then I can stuff a new cell in the outside. So let me find a new 18650, or a used 18650 that's in good shape. Here I have an 18650, fully charged. All I need to do is just get it into one of the this spare housing, and I can probably do that just by cutting away a bit of the plastic so that I can slip it in and tack it down, and say we'll just throw some tape or something on here so that it doesn't make the battery, this contact does not make contact with the dead cell. Not that it's going to affect it, because the cell is effectively open. The internal circuitry, the protection has gone open on this battery. So if I just cut some of this form away, I can then probably get this new cell in place. One of the reasons these packs fail is either overcharging or over discharging. So when you're putting your lawnmower away for the winter, do not leave
too much effort.
the battery sitting in the charger plugged in, and do not leave it in the lawnmower. Keep the battery out. Drop it in the charger a couple times over the winter just to top it up. Then remove it from the charger. And for God's sakes, don't leave it in the charger with the charger unplugged, because that will over discharge the cell. You got to remember, there's circuitry in here that's always running, that's monitoring the life of the battery, and it's always going to draw a little bit of power. So it's a good idea to drop it in the charger every couple months when it's sitting over the winter, just to give it a top-up charge. According to the owner, that's how he killed this one. He left it sitting in the charger over the winter, but the charger was not plugged in. So the charger just kept drawing power from the cells. One of the cells went below its minimum voltage, and the little circuitry that protects the cell from over discharge or over charge, which is typically a MOSFET transistor on one of the terminals, usually it's a positive terminal, went open. And then that just disconnects the cell from the rest of the world. And when that happens, the whole pack is dead. I've killed some 18650s for flashlights and stuff because I've put them in my charger and I've forgotten about them because I've got so many spares. And I forget about them, and 3 weeks later, oh gee, that battery's still sitting on charge, and guess what? It's shot. I've killed a few that way. Overcharging and over discharging is the #1 killer of lithium cells. I'm trying to keep as much of this holder intact as I can, although it really won't go anywhere once the pack is assembled. because it's going to be right up against the wall of the cell, so, or the casing. So once it's in place, it won't. I don't have to really worry about it moving. I say these packs are expensive, so I'm just trying to save the guy that owns this the cost of having to buy a new battery pack. There we go. All right. So now what we need to do is just insulate this battery here so that it can't be connected. I'm just going to use my needle nose pliers to kind of straighten the indentation here where it was making connection before. And of course carefully do this so that I don't short anything else out in the process. I would not want this battery to go nuclear, if you know what I mean. And that's always a possibility. If you short something out on a lithium cell, you're going to create some big time headaches for yourself. So that probably can go back down like that. And I'm just going to put some tape to protect or insulate the bottom of the tab from the battery. There, that should prevent a connection. And we'll do the same for the other terminal, and then I'm just going to bridge a wire across from here to this terminal. It's got a nice solderable terminal on this one. We'll do the same for the other cell on the top. I'll insulate this one so that it doesn't make a connection. And we'll do the same on this one. Bend in the contact point. And then we'll just put a wire across to connect the battery up to the new cell. And then I gotta just we'll remove all the solder from the excess solder from these tabs as well, so that I can reconnect the protection circuit.
Protection and cell belts.
And then this one should work. I'm going to use a solder pump to remove the solder from the tabs, just to eliminate any chance of shorting from using solder wick. Okay, I've got a chunk of wire here. I'm going to solder this across from here to this tab and then do the same on the other side. And then we can work at getting the pack back together, and that should make things work as planned. That's a little bit warm to hang on to. Let's get a pair of pliers. So now that the new battery is wired in, you'll see that the output voltage is 54 volts. Now, the battery's not fully charged, so once it gets charged up, it should go back up to its nominal voltage. So now I can work on reconnecting the battery balancing circuit. So we got to clear off the solder off of the tabs on here. I'm just going to put the battery out of the way for now so that I can clear the solder off all these tabs, and then we can reconnect it. So for this, I'm just going to use solder wick because I don't have to worry about shorting anything out on this. It's dead. So I'll just use solder wick to remove the solder from the holes so that we can reattach and reconnect. This is pretty much what the guys that are rebuilding electric car battery packs are doing. They're taking the batteries apart, taking the modules apart, finding out the cell that goes bad, and replacing it. Although I've never had that happen on my car, and it's over 11 years old now, coming up on its 12th birthday soon. I'm sure there'll be some point in time that I'm going to have to have the main battery replaced or rebuilt. But needless to say, I won't be doing that one myself. I will send that out to a battery expert, because it's one thing working on a small battery like this when you're working on a battery pack that is 360 volts and enough amps in there to do some major damage. I think that would be best left to the battery professionals to do that. So when that time comes, that's where my car will be going, or the battery at least will be going into a battery shop to have that done. But hopefully I won't have to do that for another few years. But it would definitely be something that I would do. I wouldn't scrap the car for that because it's in too good a shape. Okay, now that I've got the battery unit, or the battery monitoring circuit, ready to reattach, I just should be able to go back and reconnect it and resolder everything back in place. Some of these tabs I think have been bent, so I'll have to straighten them up. Now the holes are lining up pretty good here, no problem yet. There, I think we're good. Just have to resolder them down. For this, I'm just going to take a piece of solder so that I don't have any excess lying around that just waiting to touch something and short out. reconnect, and we're going to have to probably put this thing on charge first so it can figure out what's going on, and then hopefully it will work. So let's just put the battery back into its case. Goes in like this is the side it goes in like this. Cover goes on, put the screws in. There it goes, it's charging. So we'll just let this thing charge for a bit and see if it'll fully charge. Now this thing's kicked up to fast charging. You hear the fan going. Full confidence this battery will take a full charge. Fellow that owns this will be pretty happy because he was telling me the batteries are like $200 to buy a new battery.
I guess time will tell whether this works or not. Thanks for watching.